All right, folks. Good afternoon. It's December 16th. Hope you're all doing well. Okay, I did remember to hit recording. So we'll definitely have this recorded and send it out later on today and post it on the YouTube. Okay. Okay, so with that, let's get right into it. Again, hopefully you can hear me okay. It sounds like it from earlier. You can, and you can see my charts. And so let's just get at it. On the spider, we talked about it last week where, let me see. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we talked about it last Wednesday, right? That when we hit new highs, at some point we're going to get a pullback. And of course, you look big picture, right? We had a 2-day pullback, and then it just basically kissed off the 20 period, right? So folks, again, all that is normal movement, right? Like we did back here, but we have higher lows, which is a true definition of that uptrend, okay? We're in an uptrend, but it doesn't mean it goes up every day, right? Hackenacci did a good job of allowing us back in yesterday if you were trading this, right? And I know a lot of people will day trade or swing trade even the SPY. You can do really well, right? I mean, you got the green dots back here, you've got the resumption right here. When you're in these massive uptrends, you can do really well with that type of trading, absolutely, okay? Having a recent high here, following up this band, and then getting a 2-day, 3-day retracement, is real normal, okay? But Hackenacci kept us in until right here. So if you got in, just as an example, on 11.3, and you got out on 12.10, that's how it keeps you into these trends. You would have also gotten out right here on the 19th, and then possibly get back in on the 24th. That's what it can do for you. You can also go to 4-hour chart as an example and trade it off the 4-hour. Okay, so where do I think we're going? Well, I think everybody knows, right? I mean, look at the seasonal forecast until mid-February. So we're going higher, folks. Not every day, but we will, especially if we continue to keep higher lows. Okay. We do have a Fed rate decision this afternoon, which can put some volatility in the market. But if I was a betting person, which I'm not, that's what I use seasonal for, to give me edge data, right? Edge in the data is, we'll end up heading higher here. But if we head lower first, then it'll be better re-entries for you. So again, think long versus short at this point, in my opinion. Looking at the data, looking at retailer traders are still shorting the markets, and they thought they were right here, and then they weren't, right? So that's typical retailer trading. So what else do we got here then? Let's take a look at the dollar index. So we talked before last week, right? We're basically close to a bottom for the move up in the dollar index. Okay, hold on. Let me grab the right one. I'm saying that looks odd. Okay, so for the dollar index, obviously, if we talked about this last week, if you caught it, this is another one where we said, okay, potential re-entry right here. Okay, and you're doing good on this trade as well. So you can always go back and re-enter. You can go to 4-hour charts on these aggressive downtrends. Okay, so what is it? We're basically going to head lower big picture here until end of January, right? So again, what I mean by that is, if you like to trade the dollar and you don't want to get in at the low here, which I don't, right? You can also go to that 4-hour. Let me just bring it up. Okay, so now on the 4-hour chart, the re-entry was right here, and then you're out, and then you can look to re-enter. You can do smaller time frames, with that type of analysis if you really like trading something like that, okay? But again, keeping us in these trends quite often here, the best we can with these Hackenacci candles, right? In the direction of the seasonal move. So we'll, I'd love to see a retracement back up to this middle band and then roll back over, right? That's exactly what I'm looking for at this point. May have to get that on the 4-hour chart though. All right, so now let's go back to bonds. So, bonds, we knew we're going to head higher here at some point. And, maybe today's announcement in the afternoon will get it moving. Hard to say, but bonds are heading higher. It's just a matter of when. So, if you took this one here, right here, okay, just a tad early on bonds, okay, you had green, but if you did, here's to my point. So if you got in here and if it closes with a red dot and it doesn't work out, you can take a small loss or break even depending on what price does here and then wait for that re-entry, okay, versus taking all the risk down here, like putting your stop either right here or down here, that's riskier, right? Again, if you're trading the TLT, TF, it's going to look the same, right? What we're looking for here at this point now is a retracement and then a move higher. Okay, we've been in this downward channel. We want it to break out of that, but we'll let Hackenacci tell us when it's time for that long play. Okay. Okay, so the VIX. So the VIX is starting to head higher here. I think this is just going to be retracing and then turning right back over, okay, until the end of the year here, going into mid-January. Anytime you have moves like this that are this large, retracement back down, retracement, back down. Let's keep the trend in our direction there. And there's no reason to think otherwise at this point in the markets. Nasdaq, again, same thing here when we were looking at the SPY earlier. Okay, so again, beautiful, beautiful re-entry here. Curve the RSI, green dots. Obviously, we'll be hitting new highs here soon again on the Nasdaq. And let's give you an update on gold. So gold, my favorite trade, one of my favorite trades of the year, right? So I'm now flat on the futures of this. I still have a nugget option play on this that I'm holding for a couple months, okay? In fact, so what's going to happen now? So we've turned back green on Hackenacci, okay? So this is a lower high from here, and that's what I was looking for, okay? So now we've got lower highs, lower highs. And that's what we're looking for. So I apologize. My sleep last night was terrible, and mentally I'm fried right now. But we like this, right? We like to see higher lows, okay, higher lows here, meaning back to the uptrend with this seasonal move. Now, when I'm doing on NUGT, okay, I did that publicly as a trade right now. And so, my intent on this, so when I got in at the original trigger, okay, my intent on these trades that have this high probability, I usually go in at a third to half of my normal size I'm willing to take in, okay? And if it works out right away and you make money, you're never going to be a sad person, right? But what I do is then if it doesn't go in our favor right away, okay, now we got a green dot today. If this Laguerre just starts slanting up, tomorrow I'll add in more of my position, okay? I'm going to scale into this because of this type of move. And I'll do one more scale. I'll do a total of 3, okay? So instead of doing 100% of my risk that I was going to do initially, okay, I like to scale in on some of these because remember, we were fighting this downtrend, right? We were fighting this downtrend. But I love where we're at now. We're getting green Hackenacci, green dots, great seasonal. This is ready to take off to the upside, in my opinion, okay? Okay, so let's look at some of the stuff, or actually let's look at crude oil. So remember we talked last week, you can see I've been getting divergence on this, okay, quite a bit, and it's still heading higher. That's a very strong market right now on crude. And during a mentorship I was having yesterday, I was explaining to somebody, when you look at my seasonal indicator here, okay, this white line is what should have been happening in crude, okay, up until right now. And what's been happening, from left to right, it should have been heading lower, right? We talked about this last week, and it's been heading higher. So it's not acting normal, right? So what do I tell people when it's not acting normal? Go to the next chart, look at something that is, right? It doesn't mean we won't make money on this, okay? But I'm not looking at shorting this right now, even though we have divergence. Even if we get a red dot with a Laguerre trigger short, okay, I'm not taking that. Okay, what I'm more excited about at some point when we do get that little retracement going to the upside here as we get into next year. Okay, crude typically goes higher after the start of the year until the mid of February. So this is where if you understand seasonality and the indicators, I get the question all the time. That's why I want to stress this point. I actually saw something on YouTube, my public YouTube, somebody that didn't understand is this. Does seasonality work 100% of the time? Of course not. But when you go and you look at a lot of the examples of stocks, ETFs, futures, Forex that are not working out, the reason they're not is an example like this, where they have not been following their seasonal pattern. So if you think about, let's say you win 8 out of 10 trades, which is what I've been doing for years, okay? If you look at those 2 losers or 3 losers, let's say you're doing 7 out of 10, I bet you at least half of those trades, you just get excited because you see the seasonal move coming, but you're not looking to see if it's acting normal right now, okay? And that's why I like to go about 12 weeks back. And again, if I have to turn my head sideways here, it's good enough. But what I look for is from left to right, this is pointed down, especially from October till end of November. The white line is forecasting down. And that's off of the last 12 years of moves. Okay? I'm sorry, 10 years of moves, okay? And crude shot up significantly in the opposite direction. So it's not acting normal. Okay. Yes, there's probably news involved, which I could care less about, but those of you that like to read the news, this is telling me there's news or something going on, and I don't have to go spend hours finding out. Okay. So I just want to make sure that's clear. Okay, I just want to make sure that's clear. Yeah, if you're looking to do an option on Nugget at this point, I would definitely do March, April, wherever you have the most open interest, without question, Okay. So that's an important part. And this took me a few years. Even when I was doing well, just trading seasonal moves, once I understood whether or not something was following its seasonal pattern, okay, that really made me more profitable. And again, this isn't a class just on this indicator today, but it's not going to match perfectly, almost never. Okay, so let's look at something else just to give you an idea. So let's say we want to look at Netflix. Okay. So left to right, from right here to here, heading higher, okay? And Netflix at this point went down a little bit and it's heading higher, okay? It's kind of flat, right? Netflix from this point to this point is flat. The seasonal is forecasted higher, okay? This is still an okay trade to take coming up. It's one of my favorites of the year. If price would have continued staying down, see where my mouse is? To current date here, like way down here, okay, then I'm not as willing to take that trade. It's not been following a seasonal, okay? It went against it a little bit, and now it's resurrecting itself. Also, those of you that have my data mining know Netflix has gone higher the first 2 months since we have had Netflix public, right? So that's an example though that's okay. Okay, let's bring up something like Apple. So Apple from left to right is pointed up and price went up. So it's following its normal seasonal pattern, okay? Close enough. So I'm looking for long plays. Obviously I took it back here, okay? Right back here, but I'm holding on to this for a few months, okay? But that's what we look for, where if this white line was pointed all the way down, okay, then we're not following its pattern. From a short perspective, I'd only be looking in that opposite direction. So you want to understand that big picture, that if it's following its pattern or not, because if it's not, it doesn't mean you can't take a nice seasonal trade. It just means that there's more risk. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at some of the other metals. So, as I mentioned, this is a great trade here on platinum back here, right? But then again, you always have retracements and now the re-enter, okay? So probably when we get back from holiday break, platinum will have new highs, okay? More than likely, more than likely there. We typically top, right around mid-February. Massive uptrend, retracement, almost to the 20 period middle band. Now we're gonna go higher, okay? All right, let's talk the euro. So the euro now typically goes higher until the late January, right? So we've been going higher. Here's an example where if you look from October till now, left to right, the seasonal is usually lower, right? So what that means is I will still take a seasonal long because what it's been this year is stronger than the seasonal, right? What I wouldn't do if let's say these roles were reversed, let's say actual price was down, but the seasonal would have been up, okay, and then I'm not going to go long because it's not acting in the direction we want it. But this year, the euro US dollar has been stronger than what it typically is. So then I can go in that stronger direction since we have that seasonal coming now. Okay, so I hope I don't confuse that with you. But what I'm saying is my favorite trades are this. When you look at something like Apple, where it should be going up, price went up, everything's normal, great seasonal long, that's my number one, okay? But the number two then can also be when you have a stock that is stronger than the seasonal, as long as you're going on the side of it stronger, okay? That's exactly how you play that. And then three, I won't take it, rarely anyway, if price is going against the seasonal move significantly. There's no reason to take that. Just go ahead and wait until the next year or the next time you have that seasonal move, okay? Okay, Tesla. Again, we had a nice entry here. So if you got in off this Laguerre trigger green dot, if you're following the rules that I've designed for myself, okay, I'm still in this trade, part of it, right? Part of it, not the entire position. But see, no red dots yet. No red dots. That's where Hackenacci can keep you in the trade. We don't know if it's going to get new highs before it reverses. But right now, Hackenacci's saying, just relax, Keith. Just relax. You're going to get 80% of this move anyway. So we don't know if it's going to be right now in the next day or two. Because if we get a red dot, then we're out. Or maybe it's going to be up here at 700 or maybe 750. Or who knows? Maybe at 950 or 1,000, right? We don't know. We don't know. But if we do get a red dot in the near future, what will I do? Well, I'll wait for the next green dot to go long again during this seasonal move, okay? Great seasonal till the middle of February. Then we have the sell-off that typically happens in the market. And then we go long again in March, middle of March, okay? Okay, Bitcoin. I promise I start talking more about Bitcoin. So I don't have seasonal data yet, right? But what's important is you have this dominant trend, you have your normal retracement in that dominant trend, and now you're back to new highs, right? Laguerre's curving, green dot, that's your new entry. Now, I don't like this trade just because I don't like to go in right at highs, okay? And we're getting some bullish divergence popping in there, okay? But Bitcoin, what I like about it is typically January it sells off. So it's going to keep hitting highs until it doesn't, right? And then I'm expecting a fairly big sell-off based on what it has been doing since I've studied the seasonal data on Bitcoin. Okay. Any questions on that? Let me know. So Nvidia, Very interesting. You don't see this often. That's why I wanted to point this out. Okay. See how the RSI is continuing down, but we got green dots? So Hakanatchi's saying higher. Laguerre's saying, I don't know about that yet. When you get these conflicting signals, because you don't get that very often, okay? Maybe you sit on your hands and just wait, okay? Maybe. Usually, when you get a green dot like this, the Laguerre is pointing in that direction very soon anyway. We're here, we're not, okay? So I just wanted to point that out, that as much as, I mean, this is my trade of the year. Okay, he's been doing fantastic, okay? But I'm not taking it right now because I'm confused. I am confused. There's so many things to trade. If you're confused, go to the next one, okay? I like 10 years. I mean, I have seasonal data on Bitcoin now with 5 years, Jim. I just prefer 10. I just prefer 10, yeah. Great point. So Imran says Tesla's going to be added to the S&P on December 21st. Anytime something's added to the S&P is bullish, okay? It's bullish. They move them there for a reason. But that doesn't mean, again, you just go long, okay? What we're waiting for is the actual triggers and so forth. So maybe you'll get a retracement first, because remember, the market is not logical. It wants to take your money. So if everybody thinks something's going to go higher, it may not initially, right? Because the professionals can get cheaper prices and they can really, pardon my French, you know, screw you, think you're going higher, but you're not. Then once they stop you all out, then they go higher, right? So that's why it's great to know that Tesla's, you know, going to be on the S&P soon. What I'm doing though is I'm going to let the charts tell me when it's time to re-enter. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so just looking to see if I'm missing anything here. We'll look at them, Alan, as well in just a little bit. Okay, so let's do a scan. So I'm going to go to the scan tab. I'm looking for Hakanatchi that have gone today from yellow to green daily. Okay, and I hit scan. These are the ones that went from yellow to green dots. So what's the significance on that? Yellow means, right, you had Hakanatchi that was red, then you got a green candle, okay? Then from yellow to green, you get a second Hakanatchi green. So your resumption in the trend possibly, right? So what I did was I created this scan, and now what I do is I then can save it. See up here, you can save as, let me grab it, save as a watch list. I can date it. So today is the 16th, and I already did this. So if I go to personal 12/16 yellow to green, okay? It now just brought up my this same watch list here, this scan. Okay, so let me go to the chart tab now. I think this is kind of cool, right? So now I can then say, okay, so these are all symbols that went from yellow to green today. Let's see if we have any that have SIG. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that also have a nice seasonal move. Okay, so let's click on them, look at them. So AngloGold, okay, you see how you got the yellow to green, the green dot today? That's what that scan identified, right? It happens to be the Laguerre may be triggering as well. That doesn't always happen at the same time, right? So this is an opportunity. It matches the seasonal. Okay, this is an opportunity for you. Now, what I don't love about it, I already have a gold trade, okay? But, you know, and also you're betting this downtrend. So this isn't something I'm going to do right now. I've already got a nugget trade, but I just wanted to show you. So let me go to the next one. NLS, Nautilus. You got the green dot. You also have the Laguerre heading up. Okay, look at that seasonal. So again, you see how quickly I can identify and keep myself out of trouble at looking at things that aren't as healthy looking as this, okay? Let me grab another one. SWBL. Okay, so here's an example of the Laguerre already triggered. And again, the reason I like using the Hackenacci scan as well is there's a lot of stocks that when you're in a massive uptrend, okay, this isn't one of them, but when you are in a massive uptrend, what happens is the Laguerre will stay up in the red for a long time, right? So the only way to catch this on a new scan would be to go at a smaller time frame where even during a 2 or 3 day retracement, you know, the Laguerre can stay up here. So if we get that retracement, then we get a green dot, that's what I'm looking for, okay? That's what I'm looking for. TCOM, same thing. Here's an example now, right? We went from yellow to green. Okay, we got a seasonal, then a dip, then a heads up. Okay, so is this an opportunity possibly for you? Now would be the time. What I don't like is the ADX is red, so we could just be consolidating here, okay? And then we got WPM, okay? We just got a green dot. We got the seasonal move, okay? The seasonal move. It's a good opportunity for you, okay? Then the other thing you can do is you can sort, if you have the Laguerre trigger, you know, this trigger, like you probably, a lot of you have, you can then just, you know, all these already going to have the green dots today, right? So you can just sort by your triggers, okay? And you can look to see if you like any of them. So maybe you like play, for example, okay? It doesn't have seasonal data yet, but it's been this massive uptrend. Maybe now you're looking at this being your potential entry point, okay? What do you think about this, folks? NEO, okay, again, no seasonal data yet, right? But look at that beautiful move down to the bottom band. Laguerre's coming up. We got the green Hackenacci. We got the green ADX. This is the perfect opportunity, in my opinion. The only thing I don't have is 10 years of seasonal, okay? But look at that beautiful uptrend, the normal retracement, and there we go. That's your reentry. That's how, in my opinion, in my trading system, it helps you know when to get in. Are you going to be right every time? Of course not. But this is a great entry, okay? Let me show you another one I like. NLS, okay? Again, uptrend, retracement, green dot, the seasonal now takes off typically. Another good, solid opportunity for you all, okay? You can also do that and sort by, let's say you want to do a 60-day option play, right? So you can then play with the data and say, okay, you know, here's my bigger percentage moves coming. You know, here's one though that's got a 7% move. You got the Laguerre heading up, green dots, okay? Maybe STM is a good opportunity for you, right? Maybe BSX. Now, look at that seasonal. Now, here's one thing I don't like about BSX right now, Boston Science. We got the Laguerre triggering, okay, but a green dot. Again, you won't see that very often. It looks like the Laguerre might be a false signal based off of today's price action though. But when I get that type of confusion, when I turn my head sideways like my puppy, I just go to the next trade opportunity, okay? So another one where you've got Ericsson, came down, slammed down at the bottom band. You got a green dot now, and the Laguerre's still down here without curving. So maybe you say, I'm going to wait, because let me explain one thing I don't like about this. You blow it up for you. Hackenacci tells you a lot. And when you have these really indecisive, thin, they're basically telling you, we're not really sure what the hell is going on yet, right? So again, I would just move on at this point, go to something different. We've looked at a lot of good opportunities, haven't we? There's no reason to force anything, okay? Oh yeah, this scan will be available here very shortly for everybody. I just continuing to test it, and I haven't found any errors, so stay tuned. Okay. All right, so let me see, does anybody want me to look at anything, or do you have any questions? Let's see here. I'm just looking at the chat. You know, again, the beautiful thing is, let me go back now to, I'm going to go back to all options here in just a second. Bear with me. I got to find it. There we go. Let it load, and we'll do our analysis on that as well. Okay. Sure. CPRT. Yeah. If you want me to look at a financial, just type it in. So you can see here, CPRT has a nice seasonal move. Hakanachi. See, so this is an example. Thank you for this. This is a perfect example. Sometimes I love it when a plan comes together, right? So here's an example where you have this beautiful seasonal, right? The Laguerre triggered back in 1127, okay? So let's say you got in and you either made a little bit or you at the red dot. If you didn't, you got out, okay? But you know you want to get back in. If you're waiting for a Laguerre trigger, this isn't a trigger that's going to show up on the scan, right? Because it didn't go all the way to the green and then up, okay? It's got to get into this green, okay? But the Hakanachi gave you an opportunity right here, where it went a green dot, or right here, okay? That's why I like scanning with both and just keeping an eye on it, okay? So if you're in this trade now, stay in it until you get a red dot, okay? All right, yeah, let's look at GS. So financials have been really bullish. And again, let me go back to this main lesson I wanted to give you today. When you're looking at the white line here, okay, slanting up. And I have this, you don't have to have it this far out, okay? I have it from August until now. You can change this. I could go to my settings, for example, and I could change that to 12 weeks, maybe, if I can type it in right. Okay. You can change that any way you want, okay? But slanting up, price was slanting up. What you look for in these type of financials, you look for retracement. So if you got in here, okay, an 11.3, Laguerre trigger, green dot, you got out right here, okay? 80% of the move probably, right? But then if you want to get right back in, there's your reentry right here. My caution on that is that I do like to see my re-enter at least a little bit closer to the middle Bollinger Band, but regardless, that is your potential re-enter right there. ADX is just screeching higher, a lot of trending environment. We basically had higher on financials until somewhere mid-January, okay? So Zillow, again, no 10 years of seasonal data yet. But you had your Hakanachi scan would have caught this right here when you went from yellow to green, okay? So this be your enter, and you would definitely stay in this at this point until you get a red dot, okay? That's right, Jim, you got it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do a short by sig here now. Everything's loaded. Let me just take a look at some things here. So Best Buy, you got the retailer Best Buy. It's triggering here, right? You got the green dot, the Laguerre. Good looking opportunity. Again, my only hesitation is that we've been in this downtrend, but here's an example where left to right, we should have been heading lower, right? You see that? And we have. And now it should be reversing. So it's doing what it should be, folks. Okay, so I hope that clears up. If a stock's not acting normal, we don't take it. Okay. Anybody ever hear of Amazon? I think during my 1 hour I'm on here, we usually get 3 or 4 packages delivered. So I'm very familiar with it. But anyway, so let me just scrunch that up, right? Look at all the room we have to highs here. All right. Look at that seasonal move. When we talk again, we have these, I'll be starting these again January 6th, right? We're just taking 2 weeks off. But when we talk like February, March timeframe, we'll be at new highs. We'll be at new highs. High probability, right? Is this your new re-entry? Absolutely. This is a good time to re-enter if you wanted to. I'm not concerned of being at the top of the band because it's really, really narrow here, which just means consolidation. And we have plenty of room to the upside, okay? So Zoom, again, no seasonal data yet, but if you're looking to enter, you're getting close here, right? Look at that bottom, 3 times, 4 or 5 times it kissed this 380 level. That's a good opportunity to go long probably here on Zoom, right? Zillow. So Zillow made a nice move quickly, which was a little, was actually a little bit surprising based off of the ADX at the time was in a non-trending environment, which certainly doesn't mean it can't trend, but how quickly it moved up. So if you took this, like, again, this would not have shown up in the Laguerre scan, but it would have shown up on the dot, yellow to green right here, okay? And there you go. Again, I don't have seasonal data yet on Zillow. It hasn't been around long enough, okay? So seeing if there's any others. REGN, we got a nice move coming up on REGN. We've got a green to a yellow now. Okay, so I would hold off. Again, this is a pretty dominant downtrend, but what should have been happening since October 26th, big picture, left to right? What should have been happening with RGN? Anybody? See that? We should have been heading higher. We've been heading significantly lower. This is, again, what I'm talking about. Skip this trade for now. It's riskier, okay? It's not that seasonality doesn't work. It means something's going on with REGN this year during this normal time frame. It's not acting normal. Go to the next stop, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And what I would be looking for here, if I really wanted to take this, I will wait for it to come up, retrace, and then go higher, okay? Once you get the higher low, then it's a safer play. But taking that first trigger against this massive downtrend against the recent seasonal prediction is risky, okay? So hopefully that's clear. All right, Siri. Everyone listens to the Christmas music this time of year on Siri, so the stock price goes up. No, I don't know why it does. So anyway, consolidating at the bottom band. Look what we're waiting for. Green dot. Come on, green dot. And then there you go. Okay. All right, big. So we're getting close. We got a yellow dot, okay, which is a green Hackenacci for the first time. The Laguerre's trending up. You got a seasonal move. Okay, the other thing I like about this too, if you kind of scrunch it, we've been ranging here for quite a while, right about here as a bottom. So we're probably going to come back up and test that 55 level, right? SLB. So what do you think here? Seasonal saying, what, 3 more weeks or so, and then short? So just be careful. This trend is probably getting close to ending. We've had divergence here, and we're just consolidating. Yeah, let me take a look at deer. So again, from 921 to current, the white projection was saying higher, deer went higher. So that would have been absolutely a perfect signal right here for you to go long. My only hesitation, and the reason I didn't do this publicly or privately, we're right at highs. And that's just not my style because there's so many to pick from. It doesn't mean it won't break through. I don't like to go in right at highs though, okay? All right, so those of you that do like to do some day trading, you've probably seen some of my videos on YouTube. I've just been showing some clips out there. I just wanted to spend a couple minutes on it just to show you what I've been doing. So this is today, and what this is a 5-minute chart, okay? And then this is a 1-minute chart over here to the right. And what I'll end up doing is going into next year, you know, I'll have a couple live events where you can trade with me, okay? So this is when the market opened up at 9:30 right here, where the purple starts, okay? So we had the move down. It basically filled this gap. This is the open. It almost always will fill a small gap like this. So that's a very predictable but profitable move there, okay? But then we had the Laguerre trigger. Long right here, we had green dots, okay? And you're able to stay into that trade to right here, okay? So that was a nice day trade off a 5-minute chart, okay? And then right here at 11:15, we got a red dot with the Laguerre triggering short, okay? I took this short and I got stopped out. Where? Right here, because I got a green dot. So just a minimal loss, and it happens, okay? Then I took this Laguerre trigger again short right here and took it down all the way to that yellow dot. So I had what, 3-4 trades today, and now we have news coming up at 2 o'clock or so. I'm going to wait until after the news and see if there's volatility. I may trade a little bit this afternoon, but following the rules with the dots, you know, understanding the tick count, which I've been saying in my videos, you know, if it's something you're interested, let me know. I don't do it a lot. I do it for a couple hours a day. Lately, I've been doing it 5 days a week, but typically it'll be Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Because of my lifestyle, I don't want to trade every day, but the market's just been really ripe to make some money doing it. So yeah, so how I enter my stops, I always have an emergency stop on the ES of 20 ticks, okay? So when I first get into the trade, I have an emergency stop, but then I look at the swings. So like in this case, when I entered here, okay, my stop was right above that, or if it was 20 ticks or more, right, I don't ever go more than 20 ticks. And then what I do is, you know, if I would have got a green dot, then I get out. But in this case, it made the move until we took the rest of our profits, okay? So always have stops, absolutely. Tick on the ES is 1250 for one contract. Yep. You can also do the micro ES, or you can do the Dow or the Nasdaq. You know, I also like to do crude oil. Crude had a nice long play at lunch today, 11:25. It triggered right here, right? And then you basically stay in the trade until right here. Nice move, nice move. But anyway, just wanted to show you that. So you understand when I'm sending some videos out there, I'm doing more of it than I've done in a while, just because it's been working out really, really well. And I don't need 20 trades a day, but if you do want more trades, you can do the 1 minute, right? Same system, you just have to, have less profit taking and less risk. So anyway. Yeah, so when you're talking about ticks, okay, this is the tick count right here. And I have a label up here, like you can see on the ES right now is minus 175. You look for anything over plus 800 or minus 800 means there's a lot of buying or selling coming in, okay? And typically then it's going to go to that move. But interesting enough, you kind of look for the trends in it. Like what showed me here is it opened up today this was at like plus 700, okay? But then the next few bars, it kind of came down, okay? Then we got the Regare and the tick count came up. So I look at the ticks for numerous different, for diversion, things like that, divergence. But it's good to know if there's a lot of buying or selling coming in for a particular move, okay? And again, once I open up I'll do a couple of public day trading. I'll go in much more detail. All right, folks. Well, again, the next 2 weeks, we won't have the sessions. I'm going to enjoy the holidays and so forth. And we'll get started then. I think it's January 6th. I think it is the Wednesday back in January. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me. And I wish you all happy holidays for sure. Let's make 2021 a fantastic year. I think we got all the tools in place. Have the discipline. You can all do this, okay? None of this is rocket science at all. So let me know if you have any questions, folks. Other than that, talk to you all next year. Take care now.